I think, to be very honest, my own understanding, as I said, on supply chain was poor. Merchant acquiring was always cryptic, right? I always have worked in the bank and I've worked on all sides, but not on acquiring side. It is interesting and very shocking that this segment is so powerful, but never used. In acquiring side, one of the things which I keep hearing, and I'll not be politically correct today, okay, in this session. We talk so much that government has to provide support for payments, right? That UPI has to be supported by government. Okay, fine, it's okay. It's good to have extra money. But who on earth gave you a 0% product called current account? Is it assumption? And also again, we will say that MSMEs do more transactions than retail. All right. Today, how many retail transactions do we do on UPI? Each individual buys cigarettes on that, and 1 rupee return you will do on that. I have seen statement worth 50 pages getting printed on that on a retail side. MSMEs do less. Unless you are a shopkeeper on which you are doing credit, normal MSME, which is a trader, will do much lesser, right? Because traders will do RTG and FT, and technically you are getting that 0% interest, which is 500%, 5% or 6% name product. And there you're saying, I need support, right? So I think typically banks have not focused on this product for a very long time. My personal thesis is that banks are going to come back in this segment like crazy, because otherwise they have a possibility of losing entire current account. They will move across to somebody else. So that's the thesis which I want to talk about. And of course, there is a lot of business to be done. I'll skip all the slides on the company. Yeah, so maybe, okay. The fact of the matter is that India is different, right? We spoke about 50% of the global payments is in India. Digital payments is in India. That is all known fact. All the other players are catching up as well. You have in Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, everybody is doing it. So, but what we do in India will largely be replicated across because we are already leading the game. So I think that's where we stand, largest and most accepted product in the world. The acceptance problem has been solved. How many of you do not use UPI here? Solved. Now, will we go to Aligarh? You will see the solution in the same way, maybe 80%. But it will be very, very significant. So it is solved. It's not a rocket science. It has happened primarily because why UPI has worked so well? Because why UPI payments are so many? No. Merchant is not paying for it. MDR is a technical word. Merchant is not paying it. If instead of salary of getting 100 rupees, if you were to get 99 rupees, you will take it. But you want to take from the merchant. Yeah? So I think that change has happened. So fact of the matter is, today what we see is P2M is now scaling up. This is where the segment is. Will you pay each other all the time? Not really, right? This is the segment where the real growth is. A lot of PP2P transaction may also be a merchant transaction. You don't pay. I don't pay my daughter all the time, right? You don't do it. Now card transactions, they continue to grow, right? Credit card is growing rapidly. Okay? Whereas obviously debit card is reducing because it's UPS coming. It's an alternate framework, right? Prepaid transactions are still almost on the same static level for a very long time. I think India distribution is not the moat. In India, everybody has a sound box. Everybody has it. So that's already solved for. You have to enter and replace. And what is your moat? That has to be called out. It can't be payment. If it is payment, then crap, man, the guy will say, okay, I will do it for X, I will do for 0. 0 se niche kya hi jaoge? Can you give incentive saying that you take my device and I'll give you 5,000 rupees per month? It's not rental. That's not going to work. But we need to figure out what more we can do. Switching is easy. Anybody can switch any day, right? So everybody has multiple devices. You can't do more, right? And then MDR is not going to come back and scale up back. Not going to happen. You jump, dance, all bankers can do whatever it is, all payment companies, because at the end when post office went for a challenge because of, let's say, email or WhatsApp, did you care? Did you care? You don't care, right? Because as a customer, you don't care. You want service and that's about it, right? So most banks will not use their own banking system for it. They use third party because what is usable as consumer is what it is. The differentiation of faster onboarding, more QR, louder sound boxes, they all not going to work, right? Nothing's going to work. It's all sort of irrelevant, right? So what's going to happen next? We basically stop at basic acceptance. Even today, sound boxes, POS, PG, cash management are not interlinked. Crazy stuff. Merchant gets payment through NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, UPI, payment gateway, POS, all of that. But we have segregated all of them. To top it all, supply chain finance is nothing but cash management. It is the same transaction. If you were to put cash management and merchant acquiring together, we'll say, no, they are different. But customer is same. Many of you would have bought tickets online, that's a PG. But 90% business come from NEFT. So I have a choice. I can do whatever I want in the market, right? So T+1 settlement, today you can do T+0 also, right? For all you know. And static dashboard. Even today, most dashboards are static. You can't collate data. You can't understand much more. That's a reality of merchant acquiring as of date. Very few people are able to build something new. Very, very few. Settlement visibility is what the customer is looking at. Predictability. They're looking at real-time cash flow clarity. Reconciliation. Why should I reconcile? Can banks not reconcile? Give it to me. You have the statement. You have transactions. Reconcile it for me. No, it's for you to do. I'll tell you after the event. Or rather, we are now slightly large, so we have a full-time accountant just reconciling. What a waste of time for everyone to do that. Banks can easily do it. And access to liquidity. Can you give me credit? No. You will say, this is not a product I've launched. You want my car, but you don't want to serve for that. It's a left and right issue, right? I think what's happening is, it can help you as a distribution rail. Customers will easily come to you if you have a great payment product. You give them a sound box. I can tell you any bank who wants to give a sound box to the company, to any startup, we will take it. Any shopkeeper will take it because they have a higher trust on you. At no point of time I'm going against fintechs, not at all. Both have a role to play. They will also provide you credit, but credit will be slightly higher rate as well for them, right? So can we help and solve for it? Because your own customers technically is using somebody else's POS. Can you ensure that you retain your customer at least? I'm talking from banking perspective. And of course, tech companies will have a ability to support you in the journey as well. Data exhaust, it can help you in a lot of stuff. You need statement. You actually have this data to underwrite. Most people have some work, but not much. Relationship layer. Fact of the matter, I'll be very honest about it. Today we are standing here, it's an engagement layer. Does it mean that everyone you meet here is your customer? Not at all. You meet, you greet, and over a period, sometimes some of them will get converted. 5 years back, we would have stood here, maybe our customer base was much lesser. Today is increasing with time, but is everybody my customer? No. But we need to engage. It's an engagement layer. You have to realize that if I give them a sound box, it's an engagement layer. You get data from that. And again, a lot of other stuff is also happening in India. UPI and credit line, it is scaling. We have seen good numbers which will add more money to your table. Rupee and credit via UPI is actually adds more money to the table because there is a definite amount of MDR there. There is always a capital linked, and of course a cash flow intelligence. You can give credit whenever you want. If the money is extra, you can get into investment also. Not every MSME is credit hungry. Not every MSME is credit hungry. They may have money and they don't know where to put. Okay, you can help with that. I think all of that helps you in I'll skip 1 or 2 slides here. But what it does to you is that you have cash flow visibility. Cash flow visibility is important. I'll give you a very honest answer. If I were to go to my bank for getting money for organizing this event is very massive for us. We are not that large. And we need credit. They will not look at the data or previous history. They will not look at all of that. They will not give credit. Because they say it's too risky for us to put money on you. That's how it is. So if you can use this data, which is intense data, it'll help because cash flow and transaction for a merchant acquiring is same. He is getting the credit in your account, right, directly. Then of course, it is missing link. Normally on a current account, what amount of, if you do acquire a customer for Soundbox, if you can acquire a customer for POS, we talk so much about losses on devices and all. Do you know how much money average bank account will have when you have a transacting shopkeeper ka car? What is the typical balance? Anywhere between 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs, okay? And if they have less, you have weed them out. It's like a credit risk, right? If somebody has lesser balance, you have to weed them out. The point of the matter is that this product can add massive numbers. If you have 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs of AUM on your, or a balance in your current account, you are going to make 5% on top of that. 3 lakh into 5% is 15,000 rupees. And you are talking about MDR losses of 1,000 rupees here and there. It will be a change. I can tell you it will be a change, largely. Most of the guys are able to sort of go back. So if you go to the market now, you will find so many banks now having a POS devices, now entering this market, now entering with the sound box. And the opportunity for fintech is to provide for that support and solution, because these fintechs, these banks are not going to set up these entities. They're not going to distribute all of that. They will work with you. And therefore, you will not have the risk, take the risk of all of that. One big change which has happened is also that in this business, normally device cost was normally what? Aaj se 5 saal pehle, what was the POS device cost? What is the POS device cost? 650. Arre 5 saal pehle 650 nahi tha. 5 years back, POS device would have costed or will be 15,000, right? 15,000. That is down to 8,000, and there is a all-in-one at 2,500 rupees. What was supposed to be CapEx is now OpEx. You have sound boxes which cost maybe 300, 500, 800, depending on how much volume you buy. You are literally going free. You ought to think about it differently, that expense has to be negated against car. It is not happening today because car and payment business are segregated, and that is not a great idea because both are together. What will you do on car when there is no payment and collections? I don't know, what will you do with car? Current account, what will you do if you don't do payments and collections? There's nothing else you can do, right? So I think that's the point which I want to capture about. I think for a bank, current account, balance, flow-based credit, and cross-sell of insurance and all. Everybody needs insurance. I think, and banks are already very good. This is where the banks should go in. And of course, for payment aggregate PSPs, they obviously can get credit. They also can get, because they are technically always superior, even today they are superior, they actually can get some subscription plans. We have seen most of them, including Paytm and PhonePe, doing fabulous stuff out there. And of course, somebody can help them on GST and reconciliation. It will be a game changer and they will retain with you. So opportunity is not for X and Y, it's for all. And if you are a tech provider, there are not enough tech stacks which can handle all kind of payments instruments and all kind of device. For POS is different, Soundbox is different. For a shopkeeper, technically he may have all three options. If you can provide, it is complicated to build. Honestly, universal tech stack is not easy to build. But somebody will build for it, there's a value there. There'll be also value for ERP systems if they get deeply integrated with these payment instruments, so that there is a money out there. And of course, for a merchant, they will make more money. If they make more money, they'll come to you. UPI grew not because you made it grow, because merchants are happy to take it. So everything will happen right if merchants are happy. So both the entities have to sort of sort for it, not to make it very difficult. I think with this, who will lose? Who will win? I think if you're looking at transaction only acquiring, say volume कितना है, पैसा कितना बनेगा, directly उसी product से you will lose. If you're too much onto hardware, you will lose. You need to move to OpEx CapEx model very carefully. And if you're looking at only MDR level revenues, you will not be able to scale. But those who are using payment rails for intelligence, they're monetizing the relationships, they're putting it back into embedded workflows, they will do well. So with this, I pause. Any question on merchant acquiring, because this is an area of real deep passion for us. We are going to come back with a report on this very, very soon. Any questions on this area? Maybe I know I'm just off by 5-10 minutes here and there. Yeah. Any one last question? Yeah.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Pavan Bakshi. So this works in urban areas. The rural areas, the cost of acquiring will go up. Why? Because the merchants are far away and they are much smaller and a lower number of transactions. How do we address the urban-rural divide and ensure that it also works in rural areas?
I think I know for sure that we had AAPS as a model which came up in those villages because the issues with other stuff. Good news is, whatever I understand is that UPI has reached in many of those places as well. I know the device costs have kept on going down, and of course NPCI keeps adding more and more layers. They have also other approaches, also offline structures and mobile-based structures, right, which does not require this kind of device. Can we solve for all? I don't think so. Okay, but there will be areas and pockets where network is there, the usage is high. We can solve for it. Typically, a sound box doesn't cost too much, but the basic infrastructure is that I'm not a big fan of AEPS. It has had its own set of challenges. It is also prone to other issues on the ground, right? So I'm not so particular about it. Something will happen only on UPI based, and it will happen in some villages very well, but for rest, UPI only can solve. At least I don't see any other instrument right now in the market which can solve for it. I don't think so. Yeah. With this we close. Over to you. Thank you. Thank you.